You saw the thumbnail. You know who's in the building. Here to talk about the Baltimore Ravens, but not only that, from a coach's perspective. Let's get it. Let's talk Ravens with Yolanda. Today's video, we are going to discuss each player that makes up the offensive line. Welcome into the show, everyone. Good evening, Ravens flock. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone is doing fantastic on this Sunday evening. Tonight, I'm so excited. We have with us Coach Evans from Sip to Tally and more Sip to Tally. Welcome into the show, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Trying to stave off this Hurricane Betty. She's starting to whip up outside my window.
Please stay safe, and to all of my family and friends back home in Florida, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Listen, it's been up here in the mid-Atlantic, it's been pretty rough too. So, you don't have to share all that with us from South Florida and from Florida. You can just kind of hold that to yourself. We don't need all that.
We're gonna try to push it on to the Atlantic. We don't want him to make his way up there.
That'd be great. That would be great. As customary here, before we dive into the show, I'd like to say hello and give a warm welcome to everyone who has already joined in the chat. So we have with us Lady Laura Baltimore. Good evening. Actually, this is not Hendo tonight. We have with us Coach Evans tonight. So Lady Laura Baltimore, welcome in. And then B squared, Brandon Bazel says, two of the best. What's left? You just never know. You just make sure your post notifications are turned on because you just never know who we, have gracing our presence. And so tonight we have with us Coach Evans. And B squared is telling me that I'm late like Hendo. Hey, I'm not trying to be late like Hendo. And Hendo prides himself on being timely. Oh, good. B squared said he's just hanging out. Good for you. Awesome to see you. Good evening. Jared Green, thank you for joining. Thank you. Oh, Danity, welcome into the show, Danity. She says she's excited for this. I am too. I don't know if you can tell, I can hardly contain my excitement because, when you have greatness in your presence, you just get excited because something. You're going to have to sit down, take notes because Coach Evans is about to drop some gems for us. I bet you that. And she said, oh, welcome to the stream, everyone. Please do what Danity just said. Absolutely. Make sure that you hit the like button for me. With that, we are going to dive right into the show. I want to start by saying to you, Coach Evans, I know that you are a coach. Would you please share a bit of your background in football coaching and how you got started?
So how I got started is kind of a funny story. I'm not an only child, but I was for a long time. And my mom will tell you the story. Like I played by myself for a long time. I didn't have to have friends. And when she meet new people, she tell this story. Like I would just sit on the floor and we had our floor was kind of tiled off in squares, like most older people our age was. And I would sit on the floor and just play with coins, football player. And so that was the beginning of me, like my football situation. So that just was a natural transition into coaching. And I always wanted to coach. And in Mississippi, you had to teach to coach. And so it just was a natural progression to coaching. And now I didn't play football in college. I played baseball in college. Baseball was easier to me. I got a scholarship, played JUCO until I got introduced to some not so healthy things. 12-ounce things, not similar to these, but not healthy. And I picked up some weight, and so I just transitioned into coaching, and I loved it. Did it for 21 years. I would still be doing it if we had our head coach lost the job. We brought in another guy that I wasn't particularly fond of, so I stopped doing it, and I just hadn't went back and did it yet. Don't know if I will go back and do it, but it has to be the right situation. And I just once I stopped doing it on the field, I just dove in more into this, and this kind of took off. And so I just take what I was doing with the kids, and kind of do it with film here, and I love it. I just like teaching the game what I know, and I still learn too. Like even when I do the film stuff, like some people have, they in their what they've learned in their experience, they'll drop gems to me, and I just add it to my Rolodex, and I just try to input what I've learned back to people, and it's a constant give and take, and I just love the game of football, and it's brought me a long way. It taught me a lot about life, and some life lessons. It's the ultimate life lesson because you, it'll teach you about life. It goes right hand in hand with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I've learned so much from you and your content. And obviously, as a female who loves the game of football, I've never played the game, certainly never coached it, but I have family who've played it. My nephew played safety in college and all throughout growing up. And I just always had like a defensive mind because that's what I was primarily accustomed to. But speaking of your
Mm-hmm.
coaching experience, what position or positions did you coach?
I've always been an offensive guy, mainly the receivers, but most of the time I've coached pretty much all of the offense. I've been offensive coordinator for 14 of them 21 years. When I did play, I played in middle school, played in ninth grade. I was a quarterback. And the only reason I even stopped playing, I took a summer and went and visited my aunt, came back, they gave my position away, and I was hard headed. I was like, man, forget y'all. And so I didn't play again until my senior year. And I played receiver then, my senior year. And so I started coaching receivers and been offensive coordinator for, like I said, 14 of those 21 years. And just pretty much coach everything. You start with the positions you're good at, and then as you stay in it, you just learn more and more and more. And got good at the offense, then you start learning the defense. And the more you learn on the other side, the more you know how to beat the other side. And so that's when I really got good. When I started learning about defensive line, linebacker, and DB play, that's when I got better as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Oh, I have to go back to Osmond's comment. That's their loss, but it's our gain because I agree with you, Osmond. The YouTube real and digital streets have been so blessed to have your content that you pour into us. And I didn't appreciate how much it takes to, or effort or work goes into producing content. And
Mm-hmm.
especially for you, you do film breakdown. You do and during the off season, you are going through each team, evaluating their entire squad, right? And you're giving us, from 32, counting all the way down to number one, and everything in
Yep.
between. And so, for that, Coach, thank you. What are some of your core values or principles that you emphasized most while you were coaching?
Um, Mainly just really just do your job because you got to trust the guys next to you. So if I can trust you to do your job, and I'm going to do mine, I guess you could say it's just trust. It's trust. It's always be on time and be accountable. It's accountability. So the main thing I say accountability because I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to hold you to that same standard because no one, as far as the coaches on the staff, I always pride myself as no coach on the staff is going to outwork me. And I felt like I'm going to try to be the best coach on this staff, whether I'm the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the receiver coach, the running back coach. I'm going to try to outwork every coach on this staff. I'm going to try to have the best group on this staff, no matter if I got the most veteran group or if I got the youngest group. Like my last year coaching, I had a 14-year-old, and we had a quarterback, 14-year-old quarterback, and the offensive line was four seniors. And I still think that quarterback outperformed those four seniors,
Hmm.
which is probably one of the reasons why our head coach got fired. But still, that 14-year-old outperformed those four seniors. So I was going to outwork everybody on that staff. And I'll give you a sample of that day, which a shout out to my wife. She was very understanding because I'm gonna get up, my alarm go off at 6. I'm out the door 6:45, 7 o'clock, teaching from 7 to 2. Um, Study hall till 3, film till 4, practice till 6. I didn't go in with the team because I was in charge of the film. So when we walked off the field, the other coaches handled like the kids leaving and getting their practice stuff and watching it. I came straight home and loaded the film. So the film loaded by 7. So I'm breaking down the film, and the stuff that you see me do with Raven stuff, I did that for the kids till about 8, and I would upload it to Huddle, and you see my face doing the same stuff that you see on Huddle till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Then I would go do Raven stuff till about 11 and upload it till 11:30, 12, maybe 1 sometimes, then start over the next day. So that was my
Baltimore.
schedule.
Baltimore Ravens. If you are listening, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to Ravens Talk with Yolanda. If you are in need of a coach, anyone on your coaching staff, the person that you need to get in contact with is Coach Evans at Sip to Tally right here on YouTube. Coach, that is remarkable. How would you say your philosophy, as what you said, accountability, trust, how do you think that aligns with the Baltimore Ravens?
It aligns with them because you have to trust. We all when you talk about Lamar, and Lamar gets criticized so much for not being this guy and not being like that guy, but you got to trust what he does. His game. You got to trust his game, and he's a willing passer now. He's a lot better than what he used to be, and that's what he's been given the opportunity to do it. And so you have to let him be that passer so he can show you his entire game. And when we tried to make him this runner with Roman and didn't allow his game to evolve, we wasn't trusting him to evolve as a player, and we were putting him in this box and not letting him be the guy that the people at Louisville knew he could be, because he was a passer and a runner at Louisville, which is the reason why he won the Heisman. And then we put him in this box in the NFL with Greg Roman and didn't let this flower bud. And so now we're starting to see this flower blossom, and we got a 2-time MVP, which we're probably going to get 2 or 3 more MVPs. And the only thing that's missing from Lamar's resume are playoff wins. Well, not playoff wins, Super Bowl wins, which they are coming. Trust me, they're coming.
Hendo told me a while ago that we are able to clip portions of video. I'm going to teach myself how to do that, because I want to clip that when we win the Super Bowl this season. That's right. When the Ravens win the Super Bowl, I'm going to clip that and put that on this channel, this live stream. Coach Evans said it. It's coming. It's coming this year.
It is.
It is.
It's definitely coming.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. So now now that we've heard a little bit about your story and how you got into coaching and what you specialized in, pretty much everything on offense, let's talk about the Ravens offense. And this is from your perspective as a former coach. We have a lot of young talent on the team this year, and we're going to put a lot on their plate and ask them to do quite a bit of work. In terms of developing talent, from your experience, what would you like to see the Ravens coaching staff do with our young players?
We get young guys and we never let them play. We draft young guys, and at the last minute we go get veterans and stick them in the game. The best way to develop young guys is to put them in the fire. So let them young guys play. Let Jalen Davis play. Let Pepe play. Let Rosengarten play. Let Voorhees play. The best way for them to learn is to do it. Are there going to be mistakes? Yes. It's best to let them have them mistakes early. Game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Adjust and get better, and then move on. The same way. Just think about 2 years ago when Mike McDonald got the job. The Miami Dolphins game. He got torched.
He did.
But he adjusted. He got better, and look at him now. The same thing with the players. Let them guys go in there, get their feet wet, let them mess up, learn. The biggest life lesson is life itself. So let them go in there and screw up, and then they'll be better for it, in my opinion. So stop putting them in boxes and going and get these old veterans and stunting their growth. If you're going to draft them and you're going to spend draft capital on them, let them play. At least, and if they going to max themselves out and we can't pay them, at least let's get 2 years out of them and stop letting them get that 1 year and they go price themselves out.
Good point. Good point, Coach. And I agree with you. We spend so much draft capital and we refuse to relinquish it to move up in the drafts. We say we're going to keep our drafts. We're going to take our draft picks and we are not giving them up in any way. Then we get the players and we expect there to be promise, return on investment, but they somehow make their way to the, I'm going to call it what I've heard, the Harbaugh doghouse. And we don't see them and they have an injury and that we don't know really what that injury is or how it's going to affect them or if they are ever going to be ready to play. But like you said, if we draft them, if we take the young guys, they need to get out there on the field. So what offensive strategy should the Ravens focus on this season from an offensive perspective, knowing that we have so many young players?
And this kind of piggybacks off of the last game. Just take what the defense gives them because we have so many weapons right now. Obviously, Lamar and Derrick Henry, like that combination is like borderline lethal. Like, I don't think the NFL has seen anything like that in the backfield. You got two premier runners that can hurt you either way. Like the option read game has never seen anything like that because you can defend both of them, but both of them can hurt you. And then you got Mark and Zay at the tight ends. We got to figure out a way to have both of them on the field. And then if Bateman, the connection, what Saturday seemed to be starting to trend in the right direction. You got Zay Flowers, and some kind of way the connection with Lamar and Nelly seems to be good. Not saying Nelly's a great receiver, but he has a good rapport with Lamar, and I'm hoping Tez Walker can be the deep threat that we need to be. Not saying Tez gonna have like 1,000 yards, but he just needs to average like 20 yards a catch. He don't have to have like 400 or 500 yards, but just average big plays, 2 or 3 catches a game. And with all that open space, and Lamar just dotting people up, the opportunities are boundless. It's just up to Todd to use all his weapons at his disposal. The key is them young O-line. And if they can jail by game 5 or 6, I'll be happy with it. I think the first couple games probably will be a struggle with the O-line because the O-line is so young and they got to figure each other out. But if they can get each other to, get in sync by game 5 or 6 and Ronnie stay healthy, because I think we got a healthy Ronnie now, I think we'll be good. We really will be good. If the O-line holds up, I think we'll really be good come playoff time.
Yeah, I again, I agree with your points here. I don't think that we are going to come out as an offensive unit firing on all cylinders. I think the defense for the first couple of games will have to carry us. But that offensive line is crucial. It's important. It's necessary. And, to Lamar's success. But speaking of Lamar, do you think that Lamar is capable of leading these strategies that you just talked about?
Hands down. I have the utmost confidence in our quarterback. He was voted the best quarterback in the league by his peers recently. And, in my top 50, I had him second behind Pat. And I think you can flip-flop those two. So I have the utmost confidence in Lamar leading what you can pull an offense out of a hat. I think Lamar can run it. It could be veer, it could be spread, it could be shotgun, no huddle, it could be option, whatever offense you want to pull out of a hat. I have the utmost confidence that Lamar Jackson can do it because I think he's a highly intelligent young man. I think he can do what any quarterback has ever done in the past. I think he can do, and some, because he can do whatever any quarterback can do plus some because he got some tools that they haven't had.
Ooh, okay. If you weren't excited, ladies and gentlemen, about this upcoming season, I want you to get excited, effective immediately. Did you just hear Coach Evans tell you from a coach's perspective? It's one thing if I get on here and I run my big mouth and tell you believe in Lamar, but this is someone who has coached the game at that position, someone who has played the game in that position, not in the NFL, but played the game, understands it, and is telling you that Lamar Jackson, he's it. But Coach, I believe Lamar can do it. I do. I believe in him. And I know that for all of us, there's room for improvement. no matter how good we are at our craft, we can always get just a little bit better, even if it's 1%
Hmm.
better every day. What would be an improvement that you would like to see in Lamar?
Two things for me: uh, the deep passes outside the numbers, and not listening to people, not listening to like the media, not thinking that he has to, like when we played the Mahomes, not feel like he has to outdo him, like he has to outthrow him or whatever. Like and I say that because I think about the playoff game. Like you don't have to, if Mahomes throw for 290, you don't have to throw for 291. Just get the W. Whatever they give you, just take it what the defense give you. Because in my mind, they gave you running lanes. Run the ball. Run the
Yeah,
ball. Just
yeah,
do whatever it takes to get the W.
yeah,
Just be patient. Play your game, whatever your game is that day, because you have multiple games. You can win multiple ways. You can win with your legs. You can win with your arm. You can win with your mind. And just do whatever the defense decides to take away that day. You beat them in different ways because you have the ability to do that. Every quarterback can't do that. Every quarterback can't do that. It's three guys that I think in the league that can beat you three different ways, and it's Lamar, it's Pat, and it's Josh Allen. And Josh just had turnover issues.
yeah. Facts. I would to that I would add what I would like to see Lamar improve. Sometimes I feel if we are down or if we are not, if our offense is not performing up to the standard that Lamar wants it to, I feel that sometimes he gets into his own head and gets in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And that just could be his personality. Sometimes, people are very, and we all know we've heard about Lamar being extremely competitive. And he's very,
Mm-hmm.
very competitive. So, but what I would like to see, especially in games, because remember, these are NFL games. A win in the NFL is hard to come by. I don't care what team it is. It's still hard to come by. And when you are losing and your team is down by a touchdown or a touchdown and a field goal, don't allow that to cloud your judgment. Don't allow that to
Mm-hmm.
disrupt whatever it is just and I'm talking to myself here. So if nobody else is receiving this, I'm receiving it. Calm myself down in the moment and remember that
Mm-hmm.
I trust my instincts. I trust my preparation and I'm going to go out there and be bold. So that's what I would like to see Lamar improve on. A comment was made earlier by Dr. Ilwan. He said that he believed, and I want to get your take on this, Coach. He believes,
Okay.
thank you for joining Dr. Ilwan. He believes that a West Coast hybrid offense, ooh, now that's a tongue twister. Try and say that 5 times real fast, is the best for Lamar Jackson. What do you think?
That could work. That's more under center stuff. That's more that quick passing, that on time passing game. That he could do it. He would definitely have to have good route runners though. He would have to have great route runners to do that because it's an on time system where there is 3-step balls out. He could do, like I said earlier, he can run any kind of system, and I have the utmost confidence in Lamar, but he got to have the coaching too.
Yeah.
That's we ain't gonna talk about that, but he can run any kind of system with proper coaching and proper weapons around him. That kid right there is special, man.
Ooh, he is so special. That is the best word. I was going to say dynamic, electrifying, amazing, awesome, but he's so special. He's so special. And I don't know about you, and I'm sure everybody else would feel the same. I'm so glad he's our quarterback. I'm so glad
Yes.
he is
If,
our
if,
quarterback.
if he was not on our team, I still would be a fan of whatever team he was on. Maybe not like that's my team, but I still would like be locked into like whatever team he's on, like watching their games and in tune to it. Kind of like other people are with us because of him. Because and mainly because of how humble he is too.
Yes.
His personality, his how he treats other people, and it's crazy how people around the league like vibe with him and wanna play for him and with him because of his humbleness. It's you don't meet people like that a lot in football. They get there and they get to that stage and they get a different, but they turn into a different person. He seemed like the same dude that in high school that did that step back. He seemed like the same cat.
Yeah. I love that about him. You know, the name and the lights, the fame, the fortune, the glitz, the glamour, all of that doesn't seem to have infected him to the degree that
Hmm.
he has, or to a place where he's changed who he is fundamentally.
Right.
Tanja Bowman makes a good point here. She said, I want to see Lamar take more short passes when he needs to. Lamar loves to get the chunk plays. That's right. And I think that goes to your point, Coach. Lamar has to take what the defense gives him, you know?
Hmm.
And if the defense is taking away the deep pass, take the short intermediate. Utilize
Yep.
your tight ends.
Yep.
Utilize, whoever you have. And we have a great set of tight ends. We do. Now we just need to be able to make sure that we can be effective when two of our tight ends are on the field at the same time. But
I
that's
used to always
another.
say, take what I used to always say. My criticism of him used to be he used to read high to low, and I felt like he used to read high to low. But my
Mhm.
thing was maybe he was being coached to do that, and so I stopped saying it because I think he was being coached to read high to low, and he would like not hit the check down. He would get sacked because he would come out of his play fakes looking for those shots, and when he would have guys in the flats or down low wide open. So I kind of pulled back on that because I was thinking, well, maybe they coaching him to do that because we run the ball so much. So I stopped saying that, but I used to always say that.
Yeah. I can see it. I can. And I just want our coaches to be able to recognize all of the skills and whatever skill set toolboxes each player has in their respective roles. I want the coaches to be able to tap into that, maximize it,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever the strengths are, build upon it. If there are weaknesses, figure out a way to maneuver around them. Because we all have weaknesses. Everybody does. Every player.
Definitely.
No player is perfect. But it's just a matter of honing in on what works for us. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like Tanja always says, don't deviate from what works. When
Yep.
you find the system, the scheme, the methodology, the practice, and it works, stay with it. Osman has a question here. And feel free, if I didn't say it earlier in the chat, and if you're watching on replay, welcome. Feel free to leave a question for us in the comment section or in the comments below if you have a question, and we'll make sure to answer it. Osman wants to know, how can we prevent other teams' defenses from taking away the best part of our offense, especially in the playoffs? Good question.
Honestly, you can't. You have to adapt. Like, because you just think about Bill Belichick went on this long run of being successful for however many years he had Tom Brady. And everybody talked about, Tom Brady, they were great with his offense. A lot of those teams before Tom Brady became Tom Brady, well, Bill Belichick taking what you did great, he took that away and made you go to whatever your secondary option was. And if your secondary option wasn't good enough to beat them, you lost. So in the NFL, whatever you do great, they're going to take that away. So you have to be able to come with a plan to be good at something else. And then when they start to take that something else away, bam, I'm hit you with what I'm good at. So you got to have multiple options. You got to have multiple game plans and to be able to do that. Because if you just a runner, they're going to take that away. You got to be able to hit shots. And that's what happened. Just think about in 2000, what was the 14-2 season when we were just running all over everybody.
18
It
or
got took
19,
away in the
18,
playoffs.
19.
It got took away in the playoffs, and we didn't have a second option. That's exactly what happened. So, but now we got multiple options because we really have and most people don't know that because they don't really like to do, but we got a for real ball coach as offensive coordinator. I know it firsthand. We got a for real dude up there, and if Harbs get out the way, you got a for real offensive coordinator. For real ball coach that know a lot of ball. And if he just let him open that thing completely up, you got a dude that know football and just let him do his thing up there. Now, he ain't gonna be perfect because nobody is,
Mm-mm.
but you got a guy, you got a complete opposite of Greg Roman.
Now, my brain is spinning. I have so many questions swirling around because you've given so many good points. But to that, I would ask, then if what you're saying is true about our offensive coordinator being a really good, coach in his own right. Why did we deviate from the run game when it mattered?
Part of it, now we really never give the Chiefs credit for their defense. Part of it was their defense. They were the Chiefs were a defensive team last year.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it was, I think, and this is all me thinking. I don't know for sure. This is me speculating. Part of it was we panicked because they were like just marching up and down the field on us in that first half. Like we got behind early and we just kind of like, oh, we got to hurry up and get back in this game. Part of it was the faith in the running backs. We didn't have like this. We didn't have a Derrick Henry like a premier back, so we felt like we had to get it through the air. So I think it was a combination, a perfect cocktail of things that led to us deviating from the game plan. And then, but when you have that situation, it all falls back on the coach. So anytime something goes wrong, it's going to always fall back on the coach because he's the CEO of the team. So whatever goes wrong, and Lamar could throw 19 interceptions. It's still the coach's fault because he allowed him to keep throwing. So whatever goes wrong is going to always fall back on Harps, unless somebody just take it and kick the ball out of bounds or something.
Yeah. I don't even like talking about that Chiefs game. I'm trying to get past it, and I will. I'm going to move beyond it, but because it's tough. But I do want to ask Coach a question. So we were a little while ago, we were talking about the O-line and one player in particular who I'm watching for because we just learned about a soft tissue injury to our center, Tyler Linderbaum. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that? Does it concern you?
No, it don't really, because I've seen what he can do, and he's not gonna play in the preseason anyway. So I'm not worried about Linderbaum at all. If he's probably the first or second best center in the game, so him not practicing or anything doesn't bother me at all because he don't need the reps right now. I know what we got in Linderbaum. And like if something happened to Ronnie right now, that wouldn't bother me either because I know what we got in those two. Everybody else is the issue because I need to know what they got. And the funny thing is, like last year, the only starter that played in the preseason was John Simpson, but we knew what we had. We knew who was starting. Come Saturday, we don't know who's gonna play because we don't know who's gonna start. So it's like you rolling the dice to see what you're gonna get. So, but no, Tyler Linderbaum's soft tissue issue, it doesn't bother me because I know what we got. He's a all-star, well, Pro Bowler, and probably, if not best center in the league, one of the best centers in the league.
I'll say this before we get to the Hawk TV's comment. I'm not concerned about Linderbaum missing time in terms of missing reps and not being in practice or not playing in the preseason. I didn't expect him to play in the preseason, even if he were fully healthy. My only concern with soft tissue injuries is that they can be that injury that's just nagging, that just lingers, and they can be very persnickety. You think you're healing. You think you're on a track to where everything is okay. And then one little sharp move or one little wrong turn here or there, that thing can kind of trigger again. So, but I'm not putting too much stock in it. I'm not going to, worry myself or trouble myself over it. Hopefully the coaching staff and the strength and conditioning coaches are going to take that into consideration and get him ready to go. So by week 1, we need him. The Hawk team.
What does worry me is Harbaugh saying soft tissue injury, because we know he is the ultimate liar or fibber. I'm gonna say fibber. He's the ultimate fibber. His soft tissue injury could be finger cut off.
Truer words have never been spoken. It's something to watch for sure. It's something to watch for sure because we understand as Ravens fans just how important this, our center is. I mean, it doesn't matter what team you're on. Your center is of vital importance. And other than Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's the focal point. And especially for that offensive line, he's going to be that leader that we need him to be. And he has been that for us, even as, only been in the league for a couple of years. He's certainly stepped up. So we need Linderbaum. I want him to be all right. I want to take this comment here. Yolanda, coach, let's call a spade a spade. If Zay Flowers didn't fumble, the Ravens are looking at an overtime game, against the Chiefs. What are your expectations in year 2 for Zay? Excellent question. Thank you for asking that.
Pretty much one and the same. Some of the same type numbers. I still don't think he get 1,000 yards. I still think his numbers be similar to the same. I say that, and I don't say that negatively. I say that because we have so many more weapons. I don't think anybody gets 1,000 yards. Like, period. I don't think Henry gets 1,000 yards. I don't think Mark get 1,000. I don't think nobody gets 1,000 yards. But I think Lamar have a boatload of yards again. I think Lamar push MVP again because we spread the ball around. Everybody get touches. I think everybody, right around 700, 800, 900 yards, and Lamar, 38, 39, maybe 4,000 yards, maybe 500, 600, 700 yards rushing, and pushing the MVP again. But because he takes what the defense gives him, and you can't, like, Zay may go off one game, Baby may go off a game, likely go off a game, Henry go off a game, because nobody's just constantly going off game after game after game. Nobody hits 1,000 yards, but we spreading around, we beating the crap out of people, and then I think he taking 4 quarters off again.
My expectation for Zay, twofold. I want to see the maturity there. The taunting penalties, I want to see him take a leap in that maturity. I know you're excited when you score a touchdown. I know you're happy. I'm sure, I can only imagine. I've never scored a touchdown, but I'm sure it's a very exciting moment in that very second. But I need you to be able to realize that anything that you do is going to be heavily scrutinized, and we don't need taunting penalties. And another step in maturity, as the Hawk TV said, don't fumble the ball at the goal line. Now, so I'm looking for him to take a leap, a step in maturity this year. I do think that.
That's a great point.
I do think that. Thank you, Coach. I do think that Zay has the potential to have a 1,000-yard season, and the reason I say that, yes, we have other receivers. But with Lamar, this is my perspective, Lamar is a person who you've got to gain his trust. And for some reason, he trusts Zay. He has that chemistry with Zay. And while we have Nelson, I think Nelson is going to be a big part of our success. I do. But let me preface what I said. If Bateman and Lamar are able to connect, find their chemistry, find their mesh to where whatever issues they were having before, they're now, for the most part, remedied. If that happens, then I don't think that Zay would have a 1,000-yard season. However, if what we're seeing now is what we will see in a month and a half, 2 months, meaning they're hitting sometimes, they're missing sometimes, I think that Lamar will by default go back to what he's comfortable with. Like we always say about Mark Andrews, that's his, security blanket.
Yeah.
And if that
my answer was thinking that him and Bateman would be on the same page. I agree with you. If they not on the same page, I agree with you 100%. And Zay will get those touches. I didn't say that, but in my mind I was thinking that. So I agree with you 100%. If Bateman is Batemaning, he definitely would have 1,000 yards because Lamar is going to be like, forget you, dude. I'm throwing to my guy.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hollywood.
That's it. That's what I think. I will say this, that if we were to bring in Brandon Ayuk, yes, I'm still talking about it. I have not let it go, and I'm not going to let it go just yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to relinquish this. But if we bring in Brandon Ayuk, by some strange miracle, and please don't come for me in the comments, or if you're watching on replay, don't let me know. I already know, well, we don't have cap space for that. And when there's a will, there's a way.
Way.
But if we bring in a Brandon Ayuk, then I certainly will amend my answer to say no. Zay is not going to have that 1,000-yard season. But absent that, if we keep steady with the players that we have right now at wide receiver and tight end, and then I think that he's going to definitely have that 1,000-yard season. I wanted to say hello to everyone. As we're talking, as Coach and I are having conversation, I see you coming in, joining the chat. Thank you. Warm welcome to everyone who has joined. Thank you so much. Make sure you do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're enjoying this, if you're enjoying listening to Coach tell you all of the secrets and the secret sauce and how we're going to win this year, do me a favor, hit the like button. Moving on to the defensive side. Coach, what do you with our current roster, what defensive strategies would you like to see from the Ravens this year?
I really would like to see a lot of the same stuff that we did last year, but with or just putting his own little sauce on it. What we did last year was very innovative, very. We played fast, we played physical. We were difficult to figure out. There were times watching defensive films, and I would stop the tape just like mid play, and I would put myself in the framework of a quarterback, and I'd be like, what am I looking at? Like, where would I tell the quarterback to throw the ball? And I'm watching a still picture, and I wouldn't know what to tell the quarterback to do with the ball or where to go or whatnot. So the evolution of what Mike McDonald did with the defense, and I know Orr knows it because he played in it and he coached in it last year. If he throw his own little sauce on it, and if Trent is what the people are saying he is, man, the sky's the limit for this defense, man. If we stay healthy, because we got the Swiss Army knife in Kyle, Rose the leader. I'm expecting a big jump out of Robinson. I'm expecting Oweh to finally come into his own. I'm expecting Travis Jones to do his thing. Marlowe seems to be trending back to All-Pro Marlowe, even though I don't like the dude, but he seems to be trending back to All-Pro Marlowe.
Yeah.
I think the defense can maybe not be the Triple Crown winner again, but be just as good. And I'm just hoping that the defense can hold us down to the O-line jail, and we can then get rolling in that midway point of the season. But I expect them to hold the fort down until the offensive line get their stuff together.
Couldn't have said it better. That's what I want to see from the defense this year. In terms of strategies, too high safety. I want to see us being able to put Kyle Hamilton anywhere on that field and he cause havoc. I want, just like you said, the defense to be so incredibly versatile that when an offense takes a look at the defense, they say, I don't know what's coming. I can't even read this. What's about to happen here? That's what I want. I want them to confuse the offense so much so, right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking to see, like you mentioned, Coach, I want to see Zach Orr implement a lot of what worked for us last season with the personnel that we had, but now cater it to the personnel that we currently have. That's what I think his secret sauce can be added to. That's where I think his spin, his touch can be, his stamp can be added to this defense, because we do have new players, right? And so let's go out and see what these new players, or what the players, not new, but new to the sense that they've never really had starting roles. Now they will,
right.
How can we maximize their potential? That's what I'm looking for. I want to take a couple of comments real quick. So thank you, David Hunt, for joining the stream. Good evening. As a card-carrying member of the Patriots Nation, he says he fears Lamar. I'm just saying. I appreciate that. And it doesn't matter if you are a fan of any team. Anyone is welcome here. And we just, over on this channel, I just like to talk football. And tonight I have a football extraordinaire joining us, sharing some tips and tricks. Now, don't go tell your team. Now, don't go to the Patriots and say, listen, I heard the winning formula over there for the Ravens. Keep that between us. Let's have a little secret between us. But tonight we have...
I'm a huge fan of Javon Baker. David. His name was David, right?
David,
I'm a
yes.
huge fan of Javon Baker. That's a receiver that they drafted out of UCF. I'm a huge fan of Javon Baker, and I hear he's making a bunch of highlight catches over there in Patriots camp.
You hear that, David? Coach Evans, I don't know if you were here with us in the beginning, but Coach Evans, he is just that. He's a coach who looks at the film, breaks down the film, studies these players coming out of college and while they're in college. And if Coach Evans is telling you that you got a receiver over there, a good one on your hands, you'll come back at one day, I promise you, this season and say, I don't know how you knew it, but you were right. We also have Ian 16 with us. Good evening. I don't think I've seen you before, but welcome. You are from the Chiefs Kingdom. Listen, I just want to salute your team. And, you guys won. You beat us. It's hard to say. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But hopefully this year for us will be different. But, I wish you guys all the best except when you play our Ravens. Let me say it that way. Is that fair enough? But welcome. Thank you for joining, Ian. Thank you. Coach Evans, in terms of defensive line, what's important or what's the most important in terms of executing the strategies that we just talked about on defense?
Pressure up the middle, pushing the pocket up the middle. It's great to get pressure off the edge, but when you push the pocket up the middle, the quarterback really has nowhere to go. He can, if you push the pocket, if you get pressure on the edge, the quarterback can step up then escape left or right. But if you push it up the middle, he can't. He has nowhere to go. He can't step up and make a throw down the field. If he escapes left or right, then you got your edge defenders coming. But if you get pressure up the middle from Matt BK, Travis Jones, Brent Irvin, Roger Washington, whoever else is up the middle, that's tough to do. Now, off the edge, you got to have sacks. But if you get pressure up the middle, that's tough. That's tough. And that stops the run game too. So if you can get Matt BK, Travis Jones, Pierce, all them guys to get rid of the guard center guard, that sets the tone for your defense right there. And I know when I used to call plays, if the other team had a good nose tackle, that was one of the hardest things to call plays against because he really disrupts everything that you want to do, whether it's passing or running the ball.
What would you say from last year was our weakness on that D-line?
Honestly, I want to say we didn't have one because we got career years out of Van Noy, Matabike, and Clowney. I would say run defense because of what the Rams did to us that game. The Rams pretty much just ran it down our throat. A lot of teams didn't do it, but the Rams did it because what they did was they used their receivers as extra blockers. They would fold Puka Nacua, fold Cooper Kupp, and for some reason, their receivers were blocking our linebackers. A certain linebacker that's not here anymore, and we couldn't get off of it.
Yeah.
But I would say run defense because we were being as good as our defense was. We gave up rushing yards. We did. We gave up rushing yards. So I would say run defense.
Me too. That's what I think. If I were to say I want our D-line to improve in one area, to me it would be the run defense. Let's make sure that we take away the opposing offense's ability to have that as a weapon in their arsenal, right? Take that away. We already know the pass defense is going to be stellar. We know that. I just want to see that run defense just take it up just a little bit more, just one more notch. The Hawk TV side note, I'm hoping Oway can have a Terrell Suggs-like season and dominate. Yes, if he can do that, which I know he can. And the Hawk TV, I know you're not new to the channel, but for those who are watching, if you are new, welcome. Please make sure to hit the like button. We are on the road to 1K, and make sure you subscribe if you're new. But for those who are new, I am a huge Odafe Oweh fan, and I have been telling you that he is coming for everything this season. I'm with you, Hawk TV. He is. Oweh is going to have just that dominant of a season. I know it.
We're gonna try to push.
One thing that I would have liked to have seen more of last year is in-game adjustments. How do you handle making in-game adjustments from your coaching experience?
The thing is, you got to get to the iPad quick. You have to diagnose whatever they're doing fast. You got to talk to the people actually on the field. You got to be a good communicator, um, and that goes both ways. The players have to communicate to the coach what they see, and you have to communicate to them what you want them to do. If there's not good communication both ways, there are going to be issues because, well, the coach has to be a good listener first. It can't be all I need you to do, because you have to be able to listen and process what they actually see. Then you can process, okay, in order to defeat what they see, then you got to teach it or say, hey, this is what needs to be going on. So you have to be the best coach is the best teacher. If you can't teach and communicate, you can't coach. And so that's why, being an effective teacher turns out to be the best coaches. And so, and this probably had nothing to do with what we're talking about, but a lot of coaches transition to be like AP teachers because they end up being the best teachers because they know how to get to kids and communicate with kids and open, just get to them. They know how to reach them. So, but you got to be able to effectively listen, then find the proper way to get to that kid because it ain't player because it ain't no one way to get to because PQ and Row, you probably can't coach them the same way. You probably can talk to PQ one way and you probably got to talk to Row a different way. And as a coach, you got to know how to push each one of those buttons, and they probably can't communicate the same way. Like I heard Travis Jones talk the other day when he was at the podium.
Yeah.
Just listen to Travis Jones talk. Travis wasn't comfortable talking.
No, not at all.
Travis
He's
wasn't
very,
comfortable with that mic in his face,
very
and so
uncomfortable.
that let me know that Travis don't communicate the same way that maybe a Michael Pierce does. So you got to
Right.
be able to take in what Travis say and realize what he's talking about, and then relay what he needs to do. So you just got to be an effective listener. Then you got to be able to communicate both ways, back and forth with 50 whatever, however many players there is, 53 players. You just got to
Yeah.
be versatile.
I told you at the start of the stream, get your notebooks out because Coach Evans is going to be dropping some gems and dimes. And that is not only applicable to football, but it's applicable to life in general. You've got to know your audience. You've got to know who you're communicating with. Speak their language so that you can be on the same page. Make sure that there's an understanding because everybody communicates differently. Some people are very straightforward, myself, I'm a very straightforward. I've been told I shoot it from the hip. I don't mince words. I just tell you straight up. But you can't take that approach with somebody who's more, I want to say introverted or laid back. Their approach, their style, they might not receive it. They might say, wow, this is a little too strong, too harsh. Whereas someone who's straightforward, they don't want you, like myself, I don't want you sugarcoating. Just tell me, yes, this is it. No, it's not. So very good words of wisdom there. I want to take the Hawk TV's comment. How has Nate Wiggins been doing thus far in training camp to you, Coach?
From the reports, because I haven't seen him personally, it seems like he's doing fine. The thing is, a lot of people's expecting Nate to start. In my mind, I still think Nate's the fourth corner behind Brandon, Marlon, and Marlette. Because I don't think Marlette's done anything to give his slot cornerback roll up. Now, will Wiggins play a lot? Yes, but I don't think he's done anything to pass those other three. Because Marlette had a pretty good season, in my opinion, and I know he's a first round pick, and I'm not saying he's bad. I just how John is with veterans and rookies. We all know the story. I just think he's still the fourth corner right now. Preseason may change our mind, but I just as of right now, what's today, the fourth? I just think he's the fourth corner.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of preseason, good segue into this. Our first preseason matchup is this week. We play the Eagles, not a team that we play often. And I know this is preseason. Just like us, they might not even play majority of their starters, if any at all. So with that understanding, Coach, how do you think the Ravens will fare against the Eagles?
Win. Because we gonna do whatever it takes to win them preseason games, but we don't lose them. We might pull a double reverse pass out in the fourth quarter to win that preseason game, boy.
Yeah,
We
we're
go.
still.
The second team was gonna go hard for that preseason win, but
Ooh,
we got a deep roster, man. We always have guys on our roster that go and play well on other teams' rosters because as much as we cap on DaCosta, we do a pretty decent job of building the roster out, and we got guys that's probably going to be on that back end of that roster that's probably going to play for other people. Because if y'all don't remember, I can't think of the cornerback's name, Carson, whatever that we cut. He started for Houston the whole year last year. Guys like that are always on the back end of our roster that end up getting cut and go play the whole season with somebody else. And so they'll be okay. And if we lose the game, who cares? But they're gonna play hard, and Harbaugh gonna preach to win that game because they don't like losing preseason games.
that's right. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Florence, for being here. Someone who is learning and loving the game of football, I hope, but I'm glad she's here with us. Coach, I will say that to your point, yes, I think the Ravens are going to go all out to try and win this preseason game. But I mean, the fact that the win streak was broken, it was snapped last preseason, I mean, but they're still incentivized to go out there and, do the best they can and come out with a win. Come out with a win. That's it. That's it. Couple more questions, and then I have one last question for Coach myself. Yolanda, Coach, for your bottom dollar, do the team of Andre, Jason Voorhees, and Ben Cleveland have Pro Bowl all-pro seasons?
Jason Voorhees.
He says Andre, Jason Voorhees.
What was the question again?
Okay. He wants to know, the Hawk TV wants to know, do Voorhees and Ben Cleveland have all pro seasons this year? Listen, Ben Cleveland, we don't know if he's even going to play this year at the rate he's going.
Right.
That's a question
My boys
mark.
seem to have gotten replaced by cinder block feet. They seem to have put
Falele
at guard over Ben Cleveland. I don't understand how this dude he get in the games late in the year and he have very good games, but then when he has a chance to start at the beginning of next year, he gets passed over. This is the third straight year. The first year it was by Ben. I can't think his name. He left.
I was going to say Ben Powers.
Then, yes, that's what it was, Ben Powers. Then last year it was John Simpson. Now this year it looks like it's about to be Falele. So I don't know what's wrong with this dude. I'm finna stop being a fan of him. I'm just be like, whatever, dude. And I don't know what the issue is, but I am starting to come around to Voorhees. I'm coming around to Voorhees. Everybody's saying good things about Voorhees, and I know he was strong as an ox coming out of college, and hopefully that knee or whatever it was that he hurt is fully healthy, because a lot of people a lot of defensive guys are talking well about him. What the offensive guys, when they talk about their other offensive guys, I don't care about that, because that's them, bigging up their own guys. But when the guys on the other side of the ball talk well about you, that's when I start to take notice. And those defensive linemen are talking well about Voorhees, so that holds a little bit more weight for me. So all pro, no, but I just need them to be solid, because technically both of them rookies. Technically, even though Ben Cleveland's on year 3 or 4, he's never been a starter for a whole year. So in my mind, they're still rookies. Yeah. But all pro, no, I just need them to be solid.
I just think when okay, I might not be right for saying what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Just like you said, to your point, Coach, it seems like Ben Cleveland can perform and can do pretty good. Okay. Maybe average or slightly above average by the time we're in mid-season going into the end of the season. It's what concerns me about him that he's doing during the off season. Are you not eating right? Are you not exercising? You're not working out? You're not taking care of yourself? Like, I got questions. So if I were on the coaching staff, I would sit there now, I'd bring my little notebook with me, and I would just bring my, get my little pen, right? And I would say, okay, let's talk about your diet. What have you eaten this week? Let's have a log. Let me see your log. What have you had? How many times have you exercised? Because it has to be something, right, where the start of the season, or the start of the off season going into, like, training camp, preseason, he's just not it. And like you said, it's a pattern. He's the one who couldn't pass
a couple of years ago.
He couldn't pass the test.
That's what I was going to say. Now, this year I didn't hear anybody failing, so I was wondering, did we even have it this year? Because I didn't hear anybody fail. I didn't even hear any reporters mention it. So I wondered, did they cut it out?
Maybe. So that's it. Good to know, Lady Laura Baltimore. She's a bottom line person herself. That's right. Yeah, me too. I'm just point A to point B, get there quick, tell me what it is. But I don't know, Coach. But to answer your question, Hawk TV, no. Ben Cleveland is a question mark at this point in my book. He's a question mark.
Upside down question mark.
We don't know how he can, and I think they keep him around, maybe the Ravens keep him around just for that reason, that they know eventually he'll round into form. It's just, he's not going to be ready day 1, day 2, day 15, day 35. He, later on, he comes in, he packs a punch. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not going to get into my thoughts of the preseason matchup against the Eagles, because I do have a guest coming on the channel later this week, and she is a content creator who is a extraordinaire, enthusiastic Eagles fan, and so we'll hear from her. We'll preview that matchup later this week, so I won't share my thoughts. But Coach, you said we win. Give me a score.
Thinking about our backup quarterbacks, Josh, Devin, and Emery. I think Emery gonna light it up too, because I like Emery over Devin Leary. 28-19 us. And I think Emery throws for 2 touchdowns.
Ooh.
I think Emery throw 2 touchdowns to Ishmael's son.
Qadir Ishmael. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Emery takes the number 3 quarterback job.
I was hoping he'd take number 2. Who's taking number 2?
The guy that's the same age as me.
Josh is just not it, Coach. I mean, I'm sorry. But maybe we'll see something different on Saturday. And, I can put a post up or come back here and say, listen, he shut my mouth.
We screwed the pooch on that. We screwed the pooch on backup quarterback right now.
We did.
Hopefully Snoop get cut.
Well, Lady Laura Baltimore said it during the last stream. Just wait till Snoop gets cut. Yes, please cut him. and then they need to go beg him to come back. Whatever he wants, give him that, because our backups, just like Tanja said, they are so mid. I don't even put a whole lot of stock into it. But let's see what we see on Saturday. Family, thank you all so much for joining. Coach Evans, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you for sharing your insight. Before you go, I'd like you to share one memorable coaching moment that you had that it was a significant impact in your career.
Okay. So this is in high school. We had we had some situations go off my last year coaching, and a bunch of seniors, the day practice started, decided to go to another school. And so we had, unfortunately, had to play a guy quarterback that wasn't a quarterback. And we had, like I said earlier, we had a 14-year-old at quarterback. And so one of the games that 14-year-old got, his helmet came off. So in high school, once your helmet comes off, you have to come out. So the guy that kind of filled in that hadn't played quarterback since he was like 13 or whatever had to go in for that game. And it was like 3rd and something. And so I called him up. I was like, hey, we running this play. Let such and such, clear, and you throw it to him, and he should be wide open. So he went in the game. He let the dude clear, threw it to him. Dude scored, threw a touchdown. Just off the sideline, threw a touchdown. I was so happy that he did it. I met him at the hash, and we chest bumped or whatever. And I was so excited about it. And I didn't think much of it. And so, and it was a really exciting moment because he threw a touchdown cold off the bench. But then we got to senior night, and they have to write their most memorable moment. That was his most memorable moment, and I lost it.
Mm.
I lost because I remember it, but it was just a moment for me. But for him, for it to be his most memorable moment, I lost it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so impactful because just like you said, for you, it was a moment, but for him, it was everything.
Mm-hmm.
With that, Coach, thank you for sharing the story with us. And if you will please share where you are, where they can find you on social media, and what you have going on your channels.
All right. On Twitter, it's Coach Evans 9. On YouTube, I have Sip the Tally. Also I have More Sip the Tally. Sip the Tally is Ravens content. More Sip the Tally is the other 31 teams. And as OTR Mike say, More Sip the Tally is for the streets. I also have a TikTok and Instagram, and that's Sip the Tally also. So that's where you can find me and all my content.
Please make sure, if you are not subscribed already, head over to Coach Evans. His links to his social media are in the description box below. If you're watching this on replay, thank you. Please go over, subscribe, give him a follow. You can thank me later. Well, that's all I have for you all tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks to our special guest coach for being here tonight and giving us the secret formula for these Baltimore Ravens to succeed this year. I'm looking for us to win it all. I'll see you next time. And until then, you take care, stay safe, go Ravens. God bless.